Hello, my dear students. We will now start the chapter 2 biological classification of class 11th, and we will cover this video and this chapter in one shot. So, let's start with the chapter. In the previous video, we have studied about the classification. What do we mean by classification? Why do we need classification? So, for that information, you can see my previous videos. In this chapter, we will learn in detail about the different kingdoms: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, and Animalia. These are the 5 major kingdoms we are going to discuss. And viruses, viroids, and lichens, they are not placed in these kingdoms. This we will also discuss in the end of the video, that why these are not placed in any of the kingdom. What are their characteristics? So, we have studied that Carolus Linnaeus, he gave the 2 kingdom classification system, Plantae and Animalia. So, he discovered the organisms into 2 groups, one plants and one animals. But there are some other organisms also, like algae, fungi. So, where to place these organisms? These are neither plants nor animals. So, on the basis of the photosynthetic properties, unicellularity, multicellularity, these organisms were classified. So, it was seen that green algae is photosynthetic. So, it was given the categorization in the Plantae. And fungi is non-photosynthetic. So, it was given a separate kingdom. So, we have studied classification system is based on the characteristics of the organisms. This table 2.1 shows the characteristic of 5 kingdoms. What are those characteristics? Cell wall, cell type, nuclear membrane, body organization, mode of nutrition. Now, cell type. In Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae, Animalia. In Monera, cell type is prokaryotic, means it is a single cell organism. Protista, it has been considered as a unicellular eukaryotic. Monera is unicellular prokaryotic and Protista is unicellular eukaryotic. Fungi is multicellular eukaryotic. Plantae is multicellular eukaryotic. Animalia is multicellular eukaryotic. So, basically Monera is the prokaryotic. What is the cell wall type of Monera? It is made up of polysaccharides and amino acids. It is non-cellulosic in nature. Protista, cell wall is present in some organisms, not present in all organisms. In fungi, cell wall is made up of chitin, which we call chitin, chitin, chitin. The plant cell wall is made up of cellulose, and animals, they do not have cell wall. Like we, the organisms, Animalia, animals, we have no cell wall. Then what is the nuclear membrane? In Monera, nuclear membrane is absent. In Protista, it is present. Fungi, it is present. Plantae, it is present. Animalia, it is present. Body organization, Monera, it is cellular, it is single cell organism. Protista is also single cell organism, cellular. Fungi is multicellular and loose tissue. Plantae, it has tissue or organ level system, and Animalia, like we humans or other higher animals, tissue, organ system organization is seen. What is the mode of nutrition in Monera? Some are autotrophic, some are chemosynthetic, some are heterotrophic, some are parasitic, some are saprophytic. All type of mode of nutrition are seen. Protista, like Euglena, Chlamydomonas, these are photosynthetic and heterotrophic. Fungi is always heterotrophic. It is never autotrophic because it does not have chlorophyll. It is either saprophytic or parasitic, like mushrooms we see, rhizome, penicillium, aspergillus. Plantae, these are always autotrophic, but some organisms, some plants like pitcher plant, these are partially heterotrophic also. That is a different example, but mostly Plantae are autotrophic, photosynthetic. Animalia, these are always heterotrophic, like we do not have chlorophyll, we don't make our food, it is heterotrophic, holozoic or saprophytic nutrition. So, as these so many characters are present, so based on all these characteristics, R.H. Whitaker gave this 5 kingdom classification concept: Monera, Protista, Fungi, Plantae and Animalia. Now let's discuss them one by one. First is kingdom Monera. Monera simply contains bacteria. These are the different shapes of bacteria. When they are circular, it is cocci. When they are rod shaped, it is bacilli. When they are spiral shaped like Maggi noodle, it is Spirilla, and when they are comma shaped, it is Vibrio. So these are the different shapes of bacteria, and bacteria are simplest organisms, and they are ubiquitous, means they are found everywhere. At every place they can be found because they are very highly resistant to the atmospheric conditions. Then is Archaebacteria. Archaebacteria are the special kind of bacteria that lives in harsh habitats, extreme salty conditions, hot springs, marshy areas. These are also present in the gut of ruminant animals like cows, buffaloes, and they are also responsible for production of methane gas from dung of these animals. Next category of bacteria is eubacteria. There are thousands of eubacteria, like U means true bacteria. These are called true bacteria because they have the characteristics of all the characteristics of the similar to the bacteria which it has. Now cyanobacteria, it is also called blue-green algae. It has all photosynthetic pigments. Chlorophyll A is present which help in photosynthesis. It has heterocyst which helps in nitrogen fixation, like you can see in figure 2.2. Heterocyst help in nitrogen fixation, and example of this kind of cyanobacteria which is called blue-green algae, example is nostoc, anabina, and these diagrams are also asked in the exam. Different shapes of bacteria, shape of cyanobacteria, category of eubacteria. There are heterobacteria, heterotrophic bacteria. These are mostly decomposers and they are also helpful. Not all are harmful, some are helpful also. They like in making of curd from milk, production of antibiotics, nitrogen fixation, and some are harmful. They cause damage to human beings, crop, farm animals and pets. Cholera, typhoid, tetanus, citrus canker are well known diseases. See figure 3.2.3. It is the diagram of a dividing bacterium. You can see bacteria has lot of DNA, not well defined DNA, and cell wall, outer cell wall is present and cell membrane is present. Okay, bacteria divides by fission. As we all know, it divides into two and forms one cell, forms two cell. Fission means breakdown. Mycoplasmas are organisms that completely lack cell wall. They are the smallest living cells known and can survive without oxygen. Many mycoplasma are pathogenic in animals and plants. This is the category of bacteria which do not have cell wall. They do not have any kind of cell wall. Next kingdom is Protista. We have studied about Monera, in which we have studied about different categories of bacteria. Now is Protista. All single cell eukaryotic organisms are placed in Protista, like rhizophytes, dinoflagellates, euglenoids, paramecium, euglena, slime molds. These all are categorized in Protista. They have well defined nucleus and membrane bound organelles. Some have cilia or flagella, and they reproduce both sexually and asexually. Now first category is chrysophytes. This include diatoms and golden algae, which is found in fresh as well as marine water, and its cell wall is made up of silica, so it is very thick walled, it is indestructible, and these diatoms are found at the beds of the seas. They are found as the deposits at the sea level, and this accumulation over billion of years is called diatomaceous earth, and it is used to make polish, syrups, toothpaste, etc. And these are the chief producer in the ocean because they produce lot of oxygen for the organisms to survive. Next category of Protista is dinoflagellates. These are marine and photosynthetic. They can be of any color, yellow, green, blue or red depending on the pigments. Their cell wall has cellulose. They can have one or two flagella. Example is red dinoflagellate Goniolex, which cause red tide. Okay, that's why the tide appears red, because of the pigment produced by these dinoflagellates. Then euglenoid. Best example is euglena. As you can see the B part, euglena. It has two flagella, one short and one long. These are photosynthetic in presence of sunlight, but when they are deprived of sunlight, they behave like heterotrophs. Example is euglena. Then is slime mold. These are saprophytic protists. They depend on the decaying twigs and leaves. So that's why these are saprophytic in nature. They are extremely resistant and they can also survive in the adverse conditions, and when the conditions become suitable, these spores are dispersed by air currents. Next category is protozoans. These are heterotrophs and they live as predator or parasite, and there are 4 categories. First is amoeboid protozoan, in which we study about amoeba, which has false feet pseudopodia and has irregular shape. Flagellated protozoan, it has flagella like disease causing trypanosoma, which causes sleeping sickness, African sleeping sickness. Ciliated protozoans, as the name suggests, this protozoa has cilia on its body. Example, paramecium, you can see D part, paramecium. And then sporozoans, like malarial parasite, it produces lots of spores which on adverse conditions remain in the spore form, dormant form, and once the conditions are favorable, they germinate. So this is all about the kingdom Protista. Now we come to third kingdom, that is fungi. Fungi is always heterotrophic. It can be saprophytic, it can be parasitic. Penicillium, Aspergillus, Mucor, Rhizopus, these all are parasitic. And one symbiotic fungi, it forms lichens. So when there is an association between algae and fungi, they form a symbiotic relationship which is called mycorrhiza. So what happens in this? The algae is photosynthetic, it gives food to fungi, and fungi is non-photosynthetic, it gives shelter to algae. So both are helping each other, that's why it is called symbiotic relationship, and this relationship is called lichens. And when there is a relationship of these fungi is with higher plants, it is called mycorrhiza. When they are found in the root of the higher plants, it is called mycorrhiza. Reproduction in fungi takes place by vegetative means like fragmentation, fission, budding. Fragmentation means when one segment of fungi divides into many fragments, tukde. Fission also means fragmentation, but it divides into 2. And budding means when a bud is formed from a parent body, it gets detached from it and a new organism is formed. This we have studied in the lower classes also. Now sexual reproduction, that was about the asexual reproduction. Now sexual reproduction occurs in 3 steps. First is plasmogamy, means 2 gametes are fused, then their nuclei gets fused, this is called karyogamy, and then meiosis in zygote occurs, which results in the haploid spores. This we will discuss about meiosis and mitosis in the upcoming chapters of your class 11th subject, that what is meiosis and what is mitosis. Meiosis always form haploid spores, mitosis always form diploid spores. Diploid means 2 end stage and haploid means end stage. And when the cell has 2 end condition, it is called dikaryon, या dikaryophase of nucleus. And you can see the structure of fungi, like C part is agaricus, mushroom. It has gills at the top portion and lower one is the hyphae, stalk. Similar kind of stalk is seen in other fungi also. The lower hyphae and the upper one is conidia, which is filled with spores. So that's why that sac is called conidiospore. Now different categories of fungi are, first is phycomycete. It is found in aquatic habitat, decaying wood and moist damp places. It reproduces by asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction both. Example, Mucor, Rhizopus, albugo. Then is Ascomycetes. It is mostly multicellular fungi, also called sac fungi, like Penicillium, yeast. These are saprophytic, decomposers, parasitic or coprophilous. Coprophilous fungi is the fungi which grows on dung. Its mycelium is branched and it reproduces both sexually and asexually. Asexual spores are conidia and sexual spores are ascospores, like Aspergillus, Neurospora. These are the Ascomycetes fungi. Next is Basidiomycetes. Best example is mushroom. Bracket fungi or puffballs. They always grow on a damp place, logs, trees. So these are saprophytic in nature. and when classified as parasite, example is rust and smut. This also falls in the category of basidiomycete. Asexual spores are not found, but vegetative reproduction by fragmentation is common. Sex organs are absent, but plasmogamy can be brought about by fusion of two vegetative cells, and the resultant cell is dikaryotic, which we have studied 2N, and example is agaricus mushroom. Then is Deuteromycetes. It is also called imperfect fungi because sexual stages or vegetative stages, sexual stages are unknown. Only asexual and vegetative stages of these fungi are known. Sexual forms are not correctly known. That's why it is called imperfect fungi. And once the sexual stages of this kind of fungi is discovered, it will be shifted to either Ascomycetes or Basidiomycetes. Example, Alternaria, Colitotrichum, Trichoderma. These all are saprophytic, parasitic, decomposers, all kind of categories are found here. So that's all with kingdom fungi. Now we come to plantae. Plant means the higher organism, multicellular organism. Chlorophyll, eukaryotic chlorophyll containing organisms. Heterotrophic pitcher plants also fall in this category. Autotrophic plants also fall in this category. And the life cycle of plant has two phases, diploid sporophytic and haploid gametophytic, that alternate with each other. Means one phase is in haploid phase and another is in diploid phase. So that's why this is called alternation of generation, and you will study in detail about this in chapter 3. And plantae kingdom includes all algae, all bryophytes, pteridophytes, gymnosperms, angiosperms. Last kingdom is Animalia. It is the higher kingdom classified. It is heterotrophic eukaryotic organisms. These are multicellular. They do not have cell wall like kingdom Plantae has cell wall. So Animalia organisms are completely dependent on plants for their food. They can either ingest the food completely, holozoic nutrition, or they can first eat the food and then slow by slow segregation of food takes place. Sexual reproduction, like in humans, it is done by fusion of male and female gametes. Asexual reproduction is not seen in higher organisms, and all humans, animals are found in this kingdom. So that's all with R.H. Whitaker 5 kingdom classification concept. Now the last one is viruses, viroids, prions and lichens. In 5 kingdom classification of Whitaker, there is no mention of these lichens, viruses, viroids and prions. Why? Because these have entirely different characteristics and properties apart from the organisms we have studied. Virus is at the borderline. Viruses did not find a place in classification since they are not considered truly living. If we understand these organisms that have cell structure, viruses are the non-cellular organisms that are characterized by inert crystalline structure outside the living cell. Once they infect the cell, they take over the machinery of the host cell to replicate, killing the host. Would you call virus living or non-living? These are non-living. They are at the borderline of living and non-living. Once they enter the host, then they use their machinery, host machinery, to survive. So that's why they do not find any place in classification. Prions are the organism made up of protein as a genetic material. Viroids, these are the organisms that infect plants, crystalline structures. Virus means venom or poisonous fluid, and Venosky was the first to filter these organisms, and they found that these to be even smaller than bacteria because they can pass through bacteria proof filters. Then Bejering in 1898, he demonstrated that the tobacco plant infected with these virus can infect the healthy plant also. So they call this as a virus and call the fluid Contagium vivum fluidum, means infectious living fluid. And in Stanley in 1935 showed that viruses could be crystallized, and crystals consist of mainly of proteins. They are inert outside their specific host cell. Viruses are obligate parasites. Obligate means these are true parasites. Viruses contain genetic material of both DNA and RNA, either DNA or RNA. No virus contains both RNA and DNA. A virus is a nucleoprotein and the genetic material is infectious. Viruses that infect plant have single-stranded RNA, means one strand, one band. And the virus that infect animals have either single or double-stranded RNA or DNA. And what are bacteriophages as shown in the 2.6b? Bacteriophages are the viruses that infect bacteria. Like we have heard about the Ganga water. It is pure, it is always clean, there are no bacteria in it because the studies have shown that Ganga water contains bacteriophages. So the nature has given Ganga water bacteriophages which naturally kill bacteria present in it. So these are the viruses that infect bacteria. So these are called bacteriophages. Viroids. In 1971, T.O. Diener discovered an infectious agent which was even smaller than virus. And there was one disease called potato spindle tuber disease which was seen to be caused by viroids. These viroids do not have any protein coat. Hence they named viroid. And if they have protein coat, it will be called virus. Prions, as I have already told you, these are made up of proteins, and the example of this is bovine spongiform encephalopathy, which causes mad cow disease in cattle. It is similar to Jacob disease in humans. It is caused by protein material infectious agent. Lichens we have already studied. Symbiotic association when algae and fungi both help each other. Algae makes food for the fungi, so it is called phycobiont, and the fungal component is called mycobiont. You have to always remember, phycology means study of algae, mycology means study of fungi. Phyco is autotrophic, myco is heterotrophic. So that's all with the chapter. In the next video, we will discuss about the back exercise questions of this chapter. So do subscribe to my channel and also share this video with your friends. See you in the next video. Bye bye.